All right, let's just dive right into this explainer. If you've been feeling like there's a brand new AI tool dropping, every single week, and you literally have no idea where to even begin, well, you're in the exact right place. Today, we're cutting through all that noisy hype and getting straight to the practical stuff, demystifying artificial intelligence so you can actually build a workflow that works for you. First things first, we absolutely have to shatter the biggest myth out there right now. Look, AI is not some conscious, all-knowing super genius plotting in a dark server room somewhere. It doesn't have opinions, it definitely doesn't think, and it for sure doesn't care about your last breakup. Once we strip away all those classic sci-fi movie tropes, what we're left with is actually much more grounded, but honestly, it's probably even more fascinating. Think of it kind of like teaching a toddler to recognize a cat. You show them a bunch of pictures until they finally spot the patterns, right? The pointy ears, the whiskers, the tail. Well, AI does exactly that, but using math at an absolutely insane scale to predict text, pixels, or audio. You feed it billions, literally billions of data points, and it uses layers of mathematical filters to refine its guess over and over again until it consistently hits the right answer. It's basically just data in, learned pattern recognition, and a highly educated prediction out. So here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to cover how AI actually works, the difference between everyday and specialist AI, choosing the right tool, going beyond text with media AI, the golden rules of prompting, and finally, those common AI mistakes you really need to avoid. Let's move into everyday versus specialist AI and build out your mental model. Before you pick a tool, you really have to understand the two main camps they fall into. You've got everyday AI, which is built to help you brainstorm and think creatively. But then you have specialist AI, and you use that when you need stone-cold facts, fast, without any hallucinations. And by the way, hallucination is just a fancy tech term for when an AI confidently just makes stuff up. Imagine you're planning a trip to Japan, right? Figuring out a fun itinerary? That's a creative reasoning task. Everyday AI is perfect for brainstorming that. But if you need to know if a very specific restaurant is foreigner-friendly and you need cited facts, you want a fetching tool. You need specialist AI. Moving right along to choosing the right tool, the big three. Now, ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude might honestly seem completely interchangeable at first glance, but under the hood, they have drastically different strengths. Let's break down each model's distinct superpower so you can always pick the right one for the job. Let's start with ChatGPT. Its superpower is obedience. If your task has a lot of moving parts and messing up even one of them ruins the whole thing, this is where you start. Say you hand over a really complex hiring rubric with a dozen hyper-specific requirements. ChatGPT is actually going to follow every single instruction to the absolute letter. Other models, well, sometimes they quietly decide they know better than you and just drop a few rules. Not ChatGPT. Then we have Gemini. Gemini's superpower is multimodality. This means if you need to summarize an hour-long meeting recording, plus a 20-side deck and a blurry photo of a whiteboard all at the same time, Gemini is your absolute go-to. It natively processes all that mixed media at once and has a massive memory. It can handle the equivalent of dozens of thick books in a single prompt. It literally listens to the audio and watches the video to synthesize the whole shebang in one go. And rounding out the big three, we have Claude. Claude produces the absolute highest quality first drafts, period. It's also exceptionally good at writing functional code and style matching. So when you need to tighten up a tough argument or write a script that actually sounds like a real human or generate working code on the very first try, hand it over to Claude. If you feed it a few examples of your past emails, it replicates your exact tone almost perfectly. Say goodbye to that clunky, robotic AI speak. Now, jumping over to the specialist side of things. Perplexity is basically your new Google replacement for fast, highly accurate research. It scours the web to give you answers packed with actual, verifiable citations. Notebook LM, on the other hand, that is a walled garden. It only knows what you give it. So if you upload your company's private, super secret policy documents, it's only going to use those exact files to answer your questions. It's practically guaranteed not to make up any outside information. All right, Section 4, let's look beyond text and dive into media AI. Because listen, AI is not just about text anymore. There is an entire world of free, wildly powerful tools out there that can act as your ultimate creative toolkit. You've got Nano Banana Pro and Clean 3.0 for generating perfect, consistent visuals. Suno and Udio are basically your personal music composers. You just describe a vibe and they spit out full original tracks. 11 Labs is doing some mind-blowing stuff with hyper-realistic voice cloning.
And then you have tools like Zapier and OpenClaw that act like the glue, connecting everything together so you can automate all that boring, repetitive stuff and get hours of your life back every week.
Which brings us to the golden rules of prompting. Okay, knowing all these tools is only half the battle. You have to know how to actually talk to them to get incredible results. If you type in something like, write me a product description, that is a classic textbook weak prompt. Why? Because you're giving the AI absolutely zero context. You are going to get generic, useless output. It's literally like walking into a restaurant, sitting down, and just yelling, food. I mean, sure, you'll get something on a plate, but it's probably not what you actually wanted to eat. Now, compare that to telling it, act as an e-commerce copywriter, write a 150-word product description for wireless headphones, tone, casual but premium, do not mention competitors. Boom. Just by giving the AI a specific role, setting strict boundaries, and providing actual context, you instantly transform the output from generic garbage into a highly professional asset. You gave it an identity, a length, a vibe, and most importantly, constraints. Constraints are basically the secret sauce that makes AI output incredibly sharp. And this logic applies visually too. When you're prompting for images in tools like Nano Banana Pro, you have to remember, you aren't describing a task anymore. You are directing a scene. And this 6-step formula works basically every single time. Every strong image prompt needs a clear subject, what they're actually doing, their environment, a specific art style, like, say, editorial photography, the lighting setup, and finally, granular details like camera angles or color palettes. Now, watch how this formula levels up when we talk about video generators like Kling 3.0. You take that exact same image formula, but you add a really crucial layer: camera movement and time. A weak prompt is just a dog running in a park. A strong prompt is golden retriever sprints across a sunlit meadow, shallow depth of field, handheld camera motion blur. You aren't just saying what's in the frame anymore. You're directing how the frame moves and feels. You're the director now. Act like it. Finally, let's wrap up with AI mistakes to avoid. I really want to highlight the pitfalls that separate the people who absolutely love AI from those who try it once and think it's completely useless. First off, stop treating it like a basic Google search bar. Second, don't expect it to read your mind. It doesn't know your business or your preferences unless you explicitly tell it. And third, please do not give up after the first bad result. Remember, your first output is literally just a rough draft. The real magic happens when you iterate, refine, and have an actual back-and-forth conversation with the tool. I always tell people to think of AI as a ridiculously smart but brand new junior employee. They are incredibly talented, they work lightning fast, but hey, they just started today. They don't know how you like your coffee, and they don't know how you like your emails formatted. You have to brief them properly. The better your brief, the better their work is going to be. If you adopt this exact mindset, I promise you're going to unlock a level of productivity that most people haven't even realized is possible yet. So now that you have the mental model and the golden rules of prompting, it is time to put this new digital employee to work. Go apply these formulas and just watch how quickly your day-to-day workflow transforms. But I want to leave you with one final thought. Ask yourself this: if AI can already automate your most boring, repetitive tasks today, what parts of your job are you going to need to completely reinvent tomorrow?